let's talk testimony. Where were you kind of growing up? Did you grow up in the faith? And then if so or if not, when did Jesus kind of become real to you?
Oh, that is a beautiful question. I actually love talking about my testimony,
Yeah.
but I did not grow up a Christian. I did not grow up not a Christian. I just didn't grow up going to church. I grew up in a situation where our family thought that we were still good with God, even though we didn't go to church, even though we didn't fellowship with believers. We just kind
Okay.
of did what we wanted to do,
Yeah.
um, and which is not a good thing. But it's also, there's a flip side to that, which was a beautiful thing because I wasn't churched. So God was able to take a blank slate and write what He wanted on that slate. It
Mm.
wasn't that, oh, I have to remove these beliefs from you, like a lot of people that are churched, or
Mm-hmm.
have that Pharisaic point of view, like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing this and you're doing that. I didn't have that, but
Mm.
yeah. So when I was 17 years old, well, remember I told you when I was 13, I started professionally recording.
Mm-hmm.
I played basketball like nobody's business, and I rap like nobody's business,
Mm.
and I just knew that I was gonna do both. But when I turned 17 years old, uh, well, back up a little bit. I was actually molested when I was 5 years old by a girl,
Wow.
and again when I was 8 years old, twice by the same guy.
Wow.
So immediately, I just remember feeling like trash. I
Mm.
remember feeling walking around having to still look at this young man because he stayed in the same household that I did.
Mm.
So I mean, just it felt awful. But from that, just kind of feeling unwanted, not kind of, but really feeling unwanted growing up. Age 17, somebody said, I want you. And it happened to be a girl. And
Mm.
again, because I didn't grow up in church, I didn't know anything about, men shouldn't be with men and women shouldn't be with women.
Right.
I really just felt like I was just loving somebody, and that's okay. That's what my heart was like. I'm just in love with somebody. That's just okay.
Mm.
And nobody could come to me and tell me why it wasn't okay. But so from the age of 17 to the age of 20, I ended up living a lesbian life.
Mm.
And at the age of 20, the Lord ended up saving my life by way of me almost dying.
Oh wow.
But yeah, yeah,
Okay. All right.
it gets
Le-
deep.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we okay. We're gonna let up off the gas just a little bit. All right. I wanna take the time because you first off, thank you for your transparency. That
Yes, sir.
it it is a gift and we
Yeah.
receive it as such. And so um man, okay, so to backtrack a little bit, being such a young age and
Hmm.
having to deal with that, if remembering back, did you feel like you were able to share that with anybody in your family?
That was the beautiful thing because I did. Immediately
Okay.
after it happened, a couple of days after it happened, it was my cousin's house, my aunt's house where it happened, and it
Mm-hmm.
was her boyfriend's son. So I
Mm.
was able to go to her and tell her. I confided in her and told her that it happened, and then I went to school. I think it happened over the weekend. I went to school that Monday, and I had some really close friends, and we were standing in line. I remember like it was yesterday. We were standing in line, and I just remember just feeling like down. I had my head held down, and it was like, "Are you
Mm.
okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not okay." And it's like, "What's wrong?" And I told them what happened. They're like, "Oh, no, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay." They really comforted me in that moment.
Wow.
But I did not feel like I could tell my mom, not because she was not understanding or anything like that, but
Mm.
my mom always told us that if anybody did that to us, she would kill them.
Mm.
I would go to jail, and I'm like, I don't want my mama to go to jail. I need my mom. I already don't have my dad in the house. I need my mama. So in my mind, I was protecting my mom from doing something crazy and us losing her because I have two brothers as well. But
Yeah.
I did ended up telling my mom when she found out about me going into the lesbian lifestyle.
Mm. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah, I can understand that. Like as a parent, you're trying to encourage your child to know that hey, I am not playing games. That if somebody were to hurt you, I need you to know that I will be there to
Yeah.
either protect or to avenge. right?
Yes.
And the heart, the sentiment behind that is it
Yeah.
to to an older person, it's like, oh, that's beautiful. Okay, that's cool. That's great to know. But for someone younger, you're processing as, but wait a minute. But you said you could get in trouble, mama. Like you said,
Yeah.
I can lose you because of that something like that happening. And so
Exactly.
you at a young age being forced to deal with not only the reality of what happened to you, but
Hmm.
also that tension of, as much as I would like to even tell my mom, I can't, because now
Yeah.
I have to have that fear of, do I share this and potentially lose her, or do I just keep this bottled up? Now,
Yeah.
thankfully, on the flip side, you did have your aunt, so it wasn't, as some people's stories where you were totally silent. Um,
Yeah.
you were able to communicate that, and then you said that you communicated even to some of your friends at school as
Yeah.
well.
A couple of my best friends, and it was to my cousin. I thank God that He created me the way He did, because I talk too much to keep something like that in, you know.
That's
And but
good.
I've
Yeah.
literally seen the flip side of people who don't really talk much, especially
Mm,
about hard things like that. They just keep it bottled up, and they just feel like, man, this ain't happening to nobody but me.
mm,
But that's not the truth. What one thing I've learned in my Christian walk, 16 years with the Lord, is that we all go through the same thing
mm,
in some different measure.
mm-hmm.
None of us are different. As much as we like to think, oh, we're you know, I'm just this unique person. I'm so different. We were
Right.
all created by the same manufacturer. And
Yeah.
the Bible tells us that it's nothing strange that's happening to you. This same thing is happening to your brothers and sisters around the world. So, you know, man, I literally encourage people to talk about it.
Mm,
That's the only way that you're going to get free from anything. If you've been molested, if you've been raped, and you know, I've had people come and say, you know, my uncle, my mother's brother, you know,
mm,
molested me or raped me. And I've encouraged them to go have that hard conversation, and they did, and they're walking in their freedom now. But this is, you know, I have plenty of stories like that.
yeah.
And I really thank God for what He did in my life. So now I can go and tell other young women and young men
Yeah.
how to get free.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. I like that point of communicating is where that freedom's going to come from, because if you do bottle it up, it does mess with you, and then you are more
Yeah.
susceptible to lies. Honestly,
Yeah.
like it's like your own lies, right? You're telling yourself in your head, the enemy's lies. Anybody else who, who does talk a lot could end up putting more thoughts in your head as well. Um, so the communication is huge. Uh, Processing that, what what was the, I guess, the time frame from that happening to you, you communicating it to it, and then walking us up to where the lesbian lifestyle hit? Like, what was it, just that moment that you kind of held on to all the way through, or was there some lead ups to jump to the point of, even though you said that, hey, I didn't know
Yeah.
like if this was okay or not, it something still timeline
Yeah.
wise helped propel you into that?
Yeah, I really love, like, you asking the right questions. Let's just say
Okay.
that. But yeah, so that happened when I was 8, and then again when I was 9, 5, 8, and 9, and again, like I told you, I just really walked around feeling like I was crap. I would have, you know, boyfriends and all this other stuff, but it always
Yeah.
seemed like I wouldn't get the ones that I wanted.
Mm.
And my cousin would, and I was like, all of that, like, this is how the devil does.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that the hurt and pain that he caused you in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he picks at it.
Mm.
That's a sore, and he's going to keep picking at it, right? So now that I've caused this to happen in your life, you're ugly. I'm gonna send somebody to tell you you're ugly, and I'm gonna send somebody to tell you that you're not good enough for them. Like, man, this is stuff that really happened to me. And
Wow.
the crazy thing is that I got older and I got in high school, and those same dudes were like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Mm."
Oh, they trying to play like ain't nothing happened.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We
But
were just little kids. We didn't know.
hindsight, you know that it's little kid stuff. You know, like the boys that are mean to you, or the boys that
Right, right, right,
like
right.
you. But in that moment, I
Nah.
already had a wound.
Wow.
So every time you're telling me I'm ugly, every
Yeah.
time you're telling me I'm not good enough, every time you're picking somebody over me or rejecting me, you're
Yeah.
punching me in you're punching me in their wound. And I'm like, I didn't understand. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I'm so loving towards people. I'm so kind to people, and
Mm.
it's not being reciprocated back to me.
Mm.
I mean, I understand now because I'm an adult and I've been through life. But man, at that time, it was just a kick in the shin every time because the devil already knew. Like, I've caused you something to make you question your identity. Your daddy not even there either. So
Mm.
I'm really about to make you question your identity because your daddy's not there to tell you you're a beautiful princess. Your daddy's not there to tell you, don't worry about what they're saying. This is what you who you are and what you are to me, because that trumps everything, you know. But the devil just knew. The devil has tried to break me since I got here on this earth, trying to kill me, trying to break me since I got on this earth. And to anybody who's listening, please understand that whatever you've been through in your life, whether you've been through the same thing that I've been through, being raped, being molested, being told you're not good enough, being rejected, all of those things come from the enemy.
Mm.
He does not want you, like, he knows the anointing and the gift that God has put in you, and he wants to take it away. He wants you to believe that you're something that you're not. If I put a negative spin on who you are, you'll never believe who God told you or who God has made you to be. You'll never come into that because you'll keep hearing people say, you're not good enough, you're ugly, you're this, you're that. You'll keep hearing that because even now you still hear those different things, but now I can fight back. I know
Mm.
that I'm not those things. But before, as a child, nobody's protecting me, nobody's covering me. I didn't know that. So all of those things were killing me. So
Yeah.
to walk that up, like I said, you know, like, man, I've had guys, and not talking about like just like boyfriend type of stuff, but I just can remember the things, you know, walking myself up to this. I remember it
Yeah.
was this one guy at school. I was a sophomore, and man, the guy was like, he was just a handsome guy to me. We ended up getting together, but when we were together, he was ashamed that he was with me.
Ooh.
So and by the way, I'm a rapper, and everybody know who I am. I'm the star basketball player, and I'm a rapper. Everybody know who I
Mm.
am. So when they found out that he was with me, like, you go with Red, he was like, nah. And I said, you said what? You got me looking crazy to these
Got me
people.
twisted.
And yeah, so again, like, it's just like a punch in the stomach. I'm like, oh,
Wow.
here it go again. And then he said, you know, oh, you know, I'm sorry. And then I ended up like, you know, I don't want to be with you, you
Yeah.
know. But
Right.
so, man, so and it was and it was people that probably I didn't want to be with that wanted me. But I remember a specific time. I'm 17 years old, and this
Mm.
little girl who was 2 years younger than me showed interest in me, and I'm
Mm.
like, man, because I had the thoughts coming from being molested and feeling unwanted. I had the thoughts, I had the imaginations, I had the fantasies going on in my head. I was
Yeah.
playing them out, but I always said I would never do this because I know this is something that is not acceptable to my mom.
Mm.
So just holding on to that, I was like, though I have these thoughts, though I'm fantasizing about these things, I'll never live it out because my mama does not accept this lifestyle. She would always say, I'm not raising no dyke. I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so
Mm-hmm.
I just knew I couldn't do it. And man,
Yeah.
17 came, and I'm about to enter into my senior year. And this little girl was like, hey, you know, like we should switch numbers. I'm like, okay, cool. And we talk all the time on the side of the school. This is, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Before I know it, I'm not playing basketball no more outside. And I play basketball every day, all day, sun up to sundown.
Mm.
I'm on the phone talking to this girl on the phone all day, all day. And it
Wow.
really took my heart, man. It really took my heart. And I remember her just telling me one night, she was like, you're mine. And I remember being saved, and the Lord took me back to that moment and said, that wasn't her. That was the
Mm.
devil speaking through her. But she did. She told me, she said, you're mine. That's exactly how she said it to me. She didn't say anything else. And I remember saying, come again?
Oh,
And she
that's so.
said, yeah. She said, you're mine. And I said, okay. I said, but you can't tell nobody, no, you know. And
Wow.
yeah. But
Okay.
and that's how it started.
Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. The your mind even before you're like, oh yeah, you know, guy was telling me, you know, in hindsight that was Satan. Like that's as soon as you said it, I heard like
Yeah.
demonically like your
Yeah.
mind, right? Like
Yeah.
that. that's the intensity that I felt in my heart as soon as you said that.
Yeah.
And not even, gosh, not even your mind physically, like spiritually, like
Yeah.
you're already trapped.
I got you.
I set you in a trap, and I'm gonna put you in this pit, and you not getting out,
Yeah, man.
because if you do, I know that if God gets a hold of you, that it's
It's
over.
on.
And so
Yeah.
I'm gonna attack you when you are as innocent and as young as possible. I'm going to allow everyone around you to speak all lies to you and negative,
Mm.
and challenge your identity. You're going to be in a living situation that you don't have the kind of support that you need to in order to help equip you and make you feel a certain kind of way and understand your value. And
Yeah.
then I'm going to make it to when you do finally get somebody that you think you wanted and you thought was going to be that person, I'm going to make
It's,
sure
it's the
that they
wrong
twist
thing.
that knife into your heart. And so that way you can be totally broken, so that the next person who comes up and sounds like a good deal and sounds and makes you feel some kind of way and is hearing you and is actually connecting with you in a way that you
Yeah.
have been longing for, then I know that I have you and now
Yeah.
you're mine.
Yeah. And like, man, I'm telling you, it literally started. I probably was about 6 years old. Was the first time I remember the devil trying to kill me, and it was in the ocean. I remember going on a family vacation, and we were in Galveston, Texas. We were at the beach, and my dad was there. At that time, my dad was there. It was actually my little brother's dad,
Mm.
who had been in my life since I was a baby. So I never knew another man, and I didn't know this was my daddy. We'll get to that point, but I didn't know that was my daddy.
Okay.
But we were at the beach, and I just remember being in the water, like wading in the water.
Yeah.
And before I knew it, I couldn't see the shore no more.
Mm.
And but before I couldn't see the shore, I remember seeing my brothers and my cousins and my aunts and all of them go to the picnic table to go eat.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was in the middle of the ocean. I had gotten that far. I didn't see nothing else but water as far as I could see. Now remember, I can't swim at this point. I'm 6 years old.
Mm.
And I remember saying, I'm about to die. And then I drowned, and I seen bubbles, and I seen the sunshine through the water. I remember
Mm-hmm.
seeing that light shine through the water and bubbles. And I said, I'm about to die. And the next thing I knew, I was walking on the shore. That's it. God was
Wow.
like, not today, not today. I
Wow.
have so many stories like that of the devil trying to take me out. Even when I was saved, and God literally just spoke to me and was like, lock the doors. And it was for a purpose, because six Hispanic men jumped out of their F-150 and was going to do God knows what to me. And I was clueless. But I mean, it kept being instances like that. But he's been trying to take me out through lesbianism, through low self worth, low self esteem. It's been like that. It's been like that, to the point where people probably thought that, oh, you're rapping to be something, or you're playing basketball to
Mm.
be something. Nah, I was playing basketball before all of this happened, and
Yeah.
I was rapping, and I loved music before all of this happened. I didn't even want to rap. This wasn't even my thing. I just love music. And my brother saw that in me, like, my sister can rap, and that's how
Yeah.
it started. But yeah, he's been trying to take me out my entire life.
Gosh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, corazon. Yeah. Yeah. Interviews like this, my brain. It's okay. It's not even so much that like I can't keep up. It's like, yeah. Okay. No, you're right. I can't keep up because it's like I want to ask so many different questions, and I'm looking at the time, and I'm
Ask your
like, oh,
questions.
we gonna have to run this back because there's just no way that we gonna get through this. And I want to take my time through it. Like there's no
Yeah,
rush, right? But just know a part two is gonna come, ladies and gentlemen. So again, make sure you
yeah,
guys keep it locked and you guys subscribe. So when we do this again, you'll be like, oh, we gonna get some more. Yes. Okay. So
man.
okay, and just just the just the sheer fact of post all of this and more that you haven't even shared just yet, there's so much joy on you that
Yeah,
I can feel, that it does not feel forced, and it definitely feels more of something that you are, um, healed from,
yes,
in a lot of regards. And that's the thing, because somebody can go through a whole lot of this stuff and they can try to share it and they can try to do it with a smile, but then like it's almost kind of like behind the smile there's still this kind of like
they
sigh
self-death.
of like, but y'all don't even know how this is still attacking me. This still, and I'm not, because obviously, again, I don't know your story, so I'm not saying that like there's literally nothing ever there or whatever. But the fact that just the way that you're sharing and just the way that you are just carrying yourself tells me that the Lord has worked on you for quite
Amen.
some time, and He has brought you through so much, which the joy that ought to have been there in your youth has been
Yes.
restored. And that's what our Lord and Savior is. He's a restorer.
Amen.
He's a restorer. He restores our pain, right? And He swaps that out, and He gives us joy, and He gives us a hope that would have been lost had we have not given our lives to Him. And so,
Right.
hey, if you liked any of this content and you found some value in it, make sure that you like, subscribe, and of course, share it. Also, if you're interested in some more, go ahead and check out these videos. Till next time, grace and peace. Adios.